It is March 24th, 2025, and this is Hungover Handwrite. Chad Holbring. I'm Jonathan Sawyer.
Welcome to the f***ing show.
What's up, everybody? We're back. We're a day early this week, so you don't have to wait any longer for the show. It's here now. A lot to talk about today. We got a card happened.
Just a little one.
I mean, some controversy. Not the greatest fights on the planet.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Shocking, really, with, London events.
I know. They're not all going to be perfect. But we'll talk about the UFC event. We'll go through a couple other events, results, some names that the diehards have probably heard of, some controversy and some other events as well. Got some news, not a ton of fight announcements, but we got some crazy different promotions making different weird stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Some news. We got to talk about a legend that passed away recently. And then we're going to talk about the Mexico City UFC Fight Night, Moreno versus Urseg. We're going to get into that, and then last but not least, we'll tell you about some of the other major events happening this weekend in the world of MMA. So what do you think? You ready to get into UFC London?
I'm ready. I had to watch it on my phone because I was at a baby shower. Welcome new baby into the world for some friends of ours, so had to do that. Watched it on my phone, and
apparently had a very very interesting night.
Yeah. Little fun, drank some beers, and that led to other things, and luckily did not spend a ton of money.
That's good. It's good to have a rich friend, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. First fight of the night, Cowboy Fernandez versus Guram. I kind of talked about Guram being, maybe a little overrated. He's buddies with all the biggest names on the planet, trains with all of them, the Taporia brothers, Kamzat. Those are his three cornermen.
Yeah.
And then he just can't get started, man.
No. I mean, that fight, he had probably his best round in the last round. But it's just such a slow starter. Almost got finished. The guy's tough as nails. Didn't give up, probably had multiple times where he could have got out of the fight, multiple opportunities. And Cowboy just kept coming at him, doing pretty much whatever he
that range game, that range kicking range type fight that's how Cowboy is going to win, and Guram just let him do it.
Just stayed right there, let him to just tee off on him,
and Cowboy took him down.
Yeah,
that's like crazy.
Yeah.
All right, first up for the close fights. I won't call this one controversial, but Keelan Loughran beats Nathan Fletcher, split decision. I thought they got this one right.
Yes. And
honestly, fun fact, I kind of think they got like most of them right.
Yeah.
Personally, but we'll get into that. But
yeah, this one, it was definitely a close fight. Probably went, in my eyes, probably 1-1 in the first and second. And then the third round, I thought they got it right.
I think Fletcher only won one round because he had his back. Round, he had his back. Other than that, I think Keelan won everything else.
Yeah, he took him down at will. Was trying to do stuff, but Fletcher's a pretty tough guy. He was pretty slick off his back.
Yep.
Kept getting back up. The pace they had was wild. The both guys to keep going
and lots of grappling. I didn't expect. Obviously, Fletcher is a kind of known for his grappling, but like Loughran, I didn't expect that wrestle heavy of an approach from him.
I think probably because they probably studied some tape and okay, we can take this guy down. Although Loughran will stand and bang and just throw heavy hands.
He looked a little more fluid to me, like a little looser. Everyone always talks about he's got a stick from his butt out the top of his head.
Yeah,
he's just stiff as a board. But he looked a little more. He's still going to have that naturally. I think he's got a huge head, and that's just the way he's built. But like, he was moving around a little better in there, I think.
Yeah, that guy. It was a good fight, a fun fight, a close fight, but I think they got it right.
Speaking of moving around, Shauna Bannon she fights on one leg the whole time. It's crazy. And when Pooja would say screw it and start throwing, she would hit her plenty. But then some reason that stupid sidekick just got Pooja so freaked out she wasn't doing anything.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, head kicks her, drops her bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'd head kicked her like 3 or 4 times before that, and then just shoves her arm straight into an arm bar.
Yeah.
Could have got out at least once, and then just stayed in it and got armbarred.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that Bannon just did what she does. I mean, she's kickboxing background, taekwondo.
Yeah, it's not even. It's like traditional martial arts type stuff.
She did her thing, and then I wouldn't have thought, oh, she's gonna sub Puja. Obviously she kicked her head off, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bannon's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really believe in her at all, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, she's got some holes in her game. We'll see what she does when she gets to a little bit higher competition. But
she's definitely durable. I mean, she did eat some big shots in that one, and just stuck with that weird style that she's got. But
yeah.
Speaking of weird style, Christian Leroy Duncan actually didn't really do a lot of his weird spinny stuff that he usually does against Andrei Pulyaev. Kind of just kept it simple and got in his face and just was busy. Like Pulyaev, and I think there's a lot of this on this card. He just ran around the whole time.
Yeah,
he just was on his bike, had hardly any offense, and Duncan just got in his face, pressured him, and just touched him up.
Yeah, this one, that was one of the fights I was just, like I said, I was watching on my phone. That one I didn't get a whole lot of.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah, I was in my phone, and then I'd get called by somebody, oh, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, from what I saw, what I was watching, Leroy pretty much did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, it was pretty easy for him. Yeah. Marcin Tybura just keeps winning fights, beats Mick Park in unanimous decision. I wouldn't have been mad if this went the other way, but I wasn't like, holy shit, this is egregious. Like, I don't know, Tybura, this is one that I didn't really watch much of, but I just kept seeing Tybura like on top at times.
This guy, Tybura just, when it comes to the higher he's fought everybody.
Yeah. When
he comes to the higher up guys, he's getting his ass kicked.
He's the ultimate gatekeeper.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's going to be in the UFC. It's what he's been. And I think some of these young bucks coming in, or these guys that haven't fought anybody, maybe overlook him a little bit because of the way he gets beat sometimes. So
he's probably hard to train for too, because that striking style is so funky. And but he is a really good grappler, and
for sure.
I mean, he is hard to get off you, obviously, for physically hard to get off you, but also just skill wise, he's a really good grappler. So keeps getting it done. I don't. In theory, like you say, Mick Parkin, that's his first loss. So it'll be good for him, but like he's not super young. Like,
yeah,
and he doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to come out and just evolve like crazy after that.
Yeah, that division's
it's tough.
Yeah,
Loney Kavanaugh beats Felipe dos Santos. So they gave Sean Bannon one of the performance of the nights. There wasn't a fight of the night. They did 4 performance of the night bonuses. I thought this should have been fight of the night, and Sean Bannon can kick rocks. Yeah, for the fight, the bonus, in my opinion. But we'll give you your fight of the night bonus right now.
Yeah, I agree.
No money with it, but
Kavanaugh's he's a guy to watch out for.
He's sketchy, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
like it's fun to watch. But he gets hit plenty too. Dos Santos, we all knew he was like that already.
Oh yeah, he'll stand there and bang with you.
And those elbows off his back. I mean, he is going crazy off his back. I mean, I would prefer him to probably try to get up a little more often.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, he cut Kavanaugh all over the top of his head. Just active off his back.
No, it was a fun one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Chris Padilla, split decision win over Jai Herbert. I didn't have I'd say, I guess maybe this is the one that I had the biggest problem with, but I wouldn't even call it a problem. I thought Jai was way busier. Padilla's super good defensively, super hard to hit clean. Therefore, I think Padilla had probably the bigger moments, like landed the better, the bigger strikes, but just did less. So I don't know. It's a split for a reason, but I don't know. It's hard to call that one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, when you get a guy that's patient, doesn't do a whole lot, but he's making them count.
Yeah.
granted to Herbert, being busy doing what he does, it's tough. I mean, I kind of look at like what's next for Jai? Like, what do we? Is this he just stay at this level the whole time?
I think guys like this probably he's going to be fighting these types of guys, or I like Jordan Vucinic, maybe. I don't know. They may know each other or something. I don't know, but I think that makes sense. But I don't think this is like a cut worthy.
True. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but Jai's talented. It's just I don't know. Maybe I was thinking held him a little higher than maybe I should.
I mean, he basically beat Ludovic Klein back in the day. It literally it was a draw because he got a point taken for like an up kick or something. He would have won, and then now loses to ZM. ZM's good. I mean, I think that's okay. I think this loss is a little tough just because Padilla couldn't really take him down. He just didn't do a lot of it, really anything, and you still lose to him.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's not a good look. He's also 36 years old.
Yeah,
Jai is. So I don't know. Padilla, I think Padilla's good as well, but again, he just doesn't do a ton. That Rongju fight, he was losing, just not doing anything
until he hit that elbow.
Yeah. So I feel like he's a guy that's going to continue to fall behind in every fight.
Yeah.
So Nathaniel Wood beats Morgan Charrier. I think this is similar story, kind of like the one was just way busier.
Oh yeah, and I'm a fan of both. I'm probably lean more. I've always been on the Nathaniel Wood train. I'm a fan of him. That guy will stand up and go at you.
He was just faster and sharper, in my opinion. And Morgan's he's a freak athlete, but he's a little clunky.
Yeah,
that speed I think really was not what he was expecting.
Yeah, I don't think he saw that coming at all. And I mean, damn near got finished. I mean, clocked
early.
Yeah.
He did grapple Nathaniel Wood a little bit. I thought I think I mentioned that he would probably do pretty well in the grappling, just physicality alone. And Nathaniel Wood, for whatever reason, he ends up on his back a lot.
Yeah.
And held down. So I think Morgan should have done more of that. On the feet, it was kind of just one-way traffic, really. I mean, speed and technique won out in that one. Chris Duncan guillotines Jordan Vucinic. I mean, Duncan did the same thing to Oki, like the fight right before this. Jump guillotine, got it.
Yep.
Vucinic, I'm not sure what this guy's doing. I mean, he's another slow starter, half asleep constantly, and he hurts Duncan in that second round with the jab. He just hits him with the jab, hurts him. He's wobbling. 5 seconds later, he shoots a takedown.
Yeah, I don't know why, and you see it more often, than not. Really, like some guys will make that mistake, and you'll hear the announcers, "Why are you shooting a takedown? He's hurt."
Yep.
Pour it on him, and to his detriment, got finished.
He just that was a horrible decision, fight IQ wise, but also he needs to, if he wants to stick around here, he's got to have like more of a mean streak.
Yeah,
he's so throw one at a time, slip real pretty, make everything look good, have good footwork. It's like, well, dude, you're like a really talented striker, so throw more strikes.
Yeah,
get after
let your hands go.
We've seen Duncan get dropped and hurt and wobbled by everybody.
Yeah, and he finds a fucking way.
Yeah. Duncan, I mean, that American Top Team grappling that he's acquired is like the real deal. I mean, he is dangerous. Speaking of grappling, Alexa Tainara.
Yeah.
RNC's Molly McCann. Obviously, Molly retires. We'll talk about that too. But like, Molly just has not. She's always had this hole in her game, and for some reason, just has never been able to fill that hole.
Yeah, just never really evolved. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty. I mean, she got dominated. It was fairly easy. She couldn't do much.
It was one kick. Like Molly threw a kick, like a low kick, I think. She got her leg scooped up, and then just kind of real simple trip.
Yeah,
and that was pretty much it. Tainara was doing that weird thing where she was like pulling her head up.
Yeah. She kept pulling.
She was just like, squeezing her head up and like folding her in half. And I've never really seen that. I don't know why she was doing it, but that was weird. But obviously, yeah, it goes on to submit her.
Yeah, I mean the whole time she's on the ground, she's look like she's trying to rip her head off.
So weird.
But it got her, and just
yeah. Molly retires. I think she was 7-7 in the UFC, I believe. Yeah, overall,
been in there for a minute. She's obviously fun, personality, everything like that. She's fought some big names out there. The London crowd loves her, out there. Congrats to her and everything. I wish the best and everything. But
I do like that she said that she basically, if she can't beat girls like this, she doesn't belong in the UFC.
She's realistic about it, Yeah.
And the thing about her is like she really wasn't. She didn't get to the UFC as like some hype train. Like she really wasn't thought of as like some big superstar.
Yeah.
And she basically got there once she was in the UFC. She rose to stardom somewhat.
Yeah, built her name up. She had one of the coolest knockouts, in women's history.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
Same punch.
Yeah.
That was elbow or whatever. Yeah, 2 in a row.
Yeah, those. I mean, great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm never been a huge Molly fan, but
Yeah, I like the personality.
Yeah,
more than necessarily
congrats on
fighting.
a good career.
Yeah.
Tainara, I mean, I think she's pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
she's gonna be pretty good probably. I don't know where she stacks up just because we haven't seen really much of anything from her yet, but she's definitely wants to be in there and wants to fight.
Definitely, she looks strong too. Big old legs.
She's a brick shit house.
Yeah.
Kevin Holland beats Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson pretty much only wanted to grapple, and anything else aside from him getting his way with the grappling, he lost.
Yeah, he got beat up on the feet. Just, I mean, damn near finished a couple times, and then it ended up on the ground, and then Holland kind of, tangled with him on the ground, and that was dangerous.
Yeah.
A couple times he could have been put in a triangle or an arm bar, and Gunnar just couldn't sink it. But
wasn't Holland? Wasn't he working off his back too? There,
I think he did. He had a couple times where because Holland's like sneaky on the ground.
Oh yeah.
I think people forget about it, but I think there was one time. Was it Holland had Gunnar in omoplata, or was it the other way around?
No, I think that's what it was. Yeah. It's the thing. It just seemed like Gunnar was like, okay, I'm going to take him down, and then he's just going to settle on his back. Yeah. And I'm just going to like ground a pound, and he's not going to try to do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's going to try.
Yeah.
And as soon as Holland was just super active off his back, Gunnar just really didn't have anything for him aside from getting him to the ground.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Gunnar we'll see in 2 years, but it seems to be your average layoff.
Yeah, I mean, so. I don't know how much he really like wants it anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
At least once to like, I got to go on a run and like get to the belt. Like, I don't think he really cares about that anymore. But Carlos Ulberg beats a former champ, Jan Blachowicz. Obviously, big layoff for Jan. I didn't feel like it affected him too bad.
No, I mean, Jan's even at 42 years old, still a motherfucker.
This is another one. One guy did more.
Yeah.
Jan, and it's not really weird for Jan to like be low volume and then catch somebody. That's kind of like always been his thing. Like he's never been the highest volume guy, but Ulberg just was busier and won because of it, I think. Yeah,
I saw some people bitching about it. They kind of fucked Jan because they just want to mix up the division and all that stuff. But I thought Ulberg, I thought they got it right. I didn't think Jan was a little more successful in the early rounds. And then Ulberg started connecting, cut him open a couple times, and then, vice versa. Ulberg got cut open a couple times. But Ulberg, I was worried about maybe the gas tank a little bit, but it seemed to hold up.
Yeah, it's just we'll see with 5 rounds. Well, let's talk about that real quick. I mean, where does he go? Where do we go from here with Ulberg? Because he just beat. It's not updated yet, but he beat number 3, and he's number 6. So he'll switch. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
he'll jump over Rakic and Jamal Hill. Obviously, we got this Pereira Ankalaev rematch probably. So is it Olberg and Yuri?
Maybe, or does he wait and fight? I guess, does he wait that long, or does the UFC throw him?
Aren't they talking Pereira like it's like 317 or 18 or something?
I think something like that.
It's not like crazy far away, but
I guess you could. I don't know because Jamal and Roundtree are.
I think it's basically up to Olberg, because I think Yuri will say yes to pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Like, he's not gonna, first of all, he's not really in a position to be like, no, I deserve to fight Pereira next, because you've already lost him twice.
Yeah.
And also, he's just, he's a samurai, so he'll just say yes to anybody. Doesn't matter who.
It's a samurai way. I don't know. That one's tough. That division's, especially with the rematch with Pereira and Ankalaev and all that stuff, it's kind of at a standstill.
This is always the problem with immediate rematches. Whether somebody deserves it or not, it always kind of the river gets dammed up.
Yeah.
But all right, main event. Maybe the guy that should fight for the belt next, right here, Sean Brady.
Yeah.
Just aside from the first round, which wasn't even. Leon didn't kick his ass or anything, but other than that, it was domination.
Pure domination.
Took him down easy. Leon just said, "Here's my head," in the third or whatever round it was, or fourth, shot a takedown.
Yep,
crazy.
And Sean's, dangerous on the ground. I know there's that talk of they didn't know if it was staph or a spider bite or something, but he took antibiotics.
It's always something.
Yeah, if it's not because it was 5 a.m, it's staph.
The thing is I felt like I was actually blown away by Leon's output in the first round.
Yeah,
it wasn't even crazy, but compared to what I expect from Leon every first round, it was a lot. He was throwing punches.
Yeah,
and I guess equally as surprising, not landing a ton of punches. I mean, he maybe slightly edged Sean in the first round, just striking alone.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a blowout. Second round, Sean just runs across the cage, takes him down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and even standing up, Sean took, the blueprint from Bilal and Kamaru.
Yeah.
Get in his face. And Leon just can't handle somebody in his face.
Take the long-range weapons away and get him a little anxious.
Yeah, and then you don't want to be on the mat with Sean. Like, that guy's
dude, he's honestly, he may be the best grappler in the top 10 of this division. Probably a lot of divisions. I mean, I think Bilal we'll see. I think Shavkat's a little overrated.
Maybe.
I think personally, I think Sean Brady's a better grappler than Shavkat.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, what are you talking about?" But I just think he is. I think he could kind of throw Shavkat around if he wanted to. Bilal, we'll see. Bilal did a similar thing to Leon already, so it's kind of hard to know who's better there. But
we'll see. That division's, it's fun, with the guys there that are coming up. I mean, you still got some superstars there coming up. Buckley's coming. Obviously, Madalena's fighting Bilal.
Buckley's going to be the big loser at this weight class because, I mean, there's 3 guys above him that will get a title shot before him.
Yeah.
Unless he beats one of them.
Yeah.
Brady, Jack Della, Shavkat are all in front of him.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Exactly. That one's fun. I'm a fan of Sean. His striking's gotten tremendously better. He even won. I mean, was having success up talking or standing with Leon. So
yep.
I don't know. That was fun card. A little bit, not necessarily, I guess for lack of a better term, a letdown due to other past London cards, but was still a fun little card.
Not the best fights in the world.
Yeah,
but
can't have all bangers.
Yeah, they're not. It's not always going to be like that. But all right, so let's go through a couple of these other events that happened this past weekend. First of all, I mentioned James Lontop. He went 0-3 in the UFC, fought some good guys, fought Ruffy in his last fight. First fight outside the UFC, back in his old promotion, FFC, in Peru. He wins, but not it was a decision. He did a lot of cage pushing. He got it split open real bad above his eye. Not really the performance you're looking for right out of the UFC to make them want you back. So he gets a win, but not the most impressive win in the world. Cage Warriors, that Friday before the UFC card, Harry Hardwick defends his featherweight belt against Javier Garcia. This thing was pretty close. I had it on. I wasn't 100% engaged with what was going on, but it seemed pretty close. And then they had a clash of heads that forced it to, as we've seen now more recently.
Yeah.
If something happens halfway through the fight, they go to the scorecards. That's what happened here. And Hardwick retains. Will Curry, we talked about him a little bit last week. He was on the Contender Series. He's that just brick shithouse who runs around and only kicks.
Yeah.
He fought a guy that hadn't fought in like 3 years and was getting pieced up by him on the feet. And then this Eli Aronov guy just got really tired, and Curry ended up getting on top and ground and pounded a bunch, won a decision. I saw something about like Mick Maynard and him were already talking about bringing it back to the Contender Series, maybe.
Really?
Which seems kind of crazy to me because I didn't think it was that impressive of a performance. But and then this is that 4-second knockout I was talking about.
Oh yeah, that poor bastard.
Did you see it?
I saw the clip of it.
Yannick Bahati knocks out Charles Joyner in 4 seconds. Nobody talked about this, but it was like right off the glove touch.
Yeah.
They were literally like their hands touched and then he threw the punch.
Yeah, that's
kind of shitty.
Yeah. It's we've seen it in the UFC a couple times where guys instantly throw or shoot for a takedown, Hamzat style or something.
It wasn't a fake glove touch, but it was a little too quick for my liking, so I'm not real happy about that one. I think you got to touch gloves, separate, and now we fight.
Yeah. Not
touch, glove, throw, punch.
Yeah, it's a little shitty. Yeah. But I guess it's not against the rules. Protect yourself at all times.
No. And Cage Warriors got themselves a new clip for their promos. So they're like, whatever, who cares?
Exactly.
LFA 204, this was in Connecticut. Hugo Cunha, who we mentioned fought Rizvan Kuniev, the steroid boy, on the Contender Series and lost, obviously. He was the champ over here at LFA. He lost his belt in this fight as well. Back-to-back losses now to Denzel Freeman. It was pretty close first round, and then Freeman just decided to let his hands go. Backed him against the fence, hurt him, got him down, beat him up. Dylan Mantello, 0-2 in the Contender Series. He was on death's door in this one. Second round comes out and sleeps him. Sleeps Ednelson Santos. This was crazy. Had Al Iaquinta and Aljo in his corner and stuff for this.
Damn.
Maybe if he put a little win streak going here, we'll see him back in the UFC.
Maybe,
but I kind of doubt it. Joe Giannetti, Ultimate Fighter runner-up, lost in the finale. Ultimate Fighter. He gets a pretty dominant win. 4 minutes in the first round. Ground and pound, elbows. Or punches, elbows. I don't think it was ground and pound, but and then Barboza, I think we talked about him. He was 4-6 in the UFC. Lost to like Francis and a bunch of guys that you've heard of. He wins submission over Justin the Fort Sumter. And other than that, won championship. This was today, I think. Like early today. Today being Sunday. Rod Tang just kills this
poor bastard.
Japanese guy. I mean, he like right at the same time they were both throwing, he got clipped. Rod Tang didn't care.
Yeah.
Just threw a left hook right after.
He does the chin conditioning, man, where he just lets somebody haul off and hit him 500 times for a round.
He's so disgusting.
It's wild. That guy's chin is incredible.
And he's so old. He's 27.
Yeah.
This doesn't say his record, but it's something ridiculous.
It's 500
fights.
It's that guy's not human.
I think it may be like a I am 12 situation, It's like 38, but it says 27. Tawanchai, minus 600 favorite, gets TKO'd.
Ouch.
By Masaki Nori. He gets clipped real bad with a left hook, and then they 10 count him, and he's still not really there, and then guy just lets him fly and TKOs him.
Damn.
Minus 600 favorite, goes down there. Big upset. Other than that, I mean, Adriano Moraes, who famously has one win over Demetrius Johnson, 2 losses after.
Yeah.
But he got TKO'd in the first round.
Ouch.
John DeBella, he wins the interim flyweight kickboxing championship. And that's other. I mean, Shinya Aoki, we talked about this. This is the 4th time these two guys were fighting each other. Aoki beats Edward Foleyang for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
By first round armbar, 53 seconds into the fight. So I think they both wanted some money.
Fucking Lineker.
Lineker, yeah. This was his first kickboxing fight. And he loses a split decision. I didn't watch all this one, but I mean, Lineker, if we're striking, I think Lineker is going to be hanging in there with anybody. It doesn't matter who. So he loses a split there, and that's pretty much it for the names. So yeah, some interesting events. I mean, outside the UFC, some well-known promotions having events this weekend. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but before Superlex fight in one championship, he got stripped of his bantamweight title, and the fight became just a regular 3-round fight. He lost, but it's because of their hydration and weight cutting stuff that they got.
Oh, okay.
So for those who don't know, in one championship, you have to make weight, first of all. Second of all, you got to pass these hydration tests to make sure that you are, I don't even know what the right terminology would be, but you've hydrated enough to safely cut the weight.
Yeah.
So you don't just have to only make weight. You got to make weight and be hydrated the way that their tests work.
I guess for it to be safer, but damn.
Yeah. So he gets stripped and he loses.
Ouch.
So I guess I should fact check that. Pretty sure he lost. Superlex, yeah, decision to Nabil Anan. And then also, I'll throw this one over to you. Dirty Box has their first event, and I didn't even know that they were doing this until like the day before.
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't see a lot of promotion about it. Isn't
that kind of the point of it though? It's like, here's a big idea that Mike Perry had. He goes, okay, I'm going to make a boxing promotion where we basically wear MMA gloves, essentially. But here's the kicker. Here's what's really going to push it over the top. We're going to do it in these shitty warehouse venues. Yeah. I mean,
and nobody's going to talk about it.
Everyone's going to freak out about this. Yeah. Oh, and we're going to bring in names that you've heard of, and they're only going to fight names that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, it's...
What an idea.
Yeah, great. The promotion behind it is uncanny. It just doesn't... I don't think you can get better.
I don't... And we'll get into news here in a second, but John Jones joins Dirty Boxing as a co-owner.
Yeah.
Why? Why is he buying into that?
I don't know. I think it might be maybe they really do believe in it being a new big thing. Maybe a next kind of like BKFC kind of thing, but I don't know. We'll see. There's so many new promotions coming out now and different, like we mentioned or we're going to mention.
Yeah, we will definitely talk about some of those. But I mean, who was on here? It was, I don't even know if they got it on here, but on Tapology. But it was Romero was in the main event against somebody that no one's ever heard of. He knocks him out, and then wasn't there the co-main was somebody with a big name too, wasn't it?
Wasn't it Arlovsky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Against some guy nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah.
And
that poor guy.
Did he kill him?
Yeah, he split his face.
I did see that.
Wide open.
I did see that, yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't have to talk about this for any longer, but it's like, it looked like it was in a shitty warehouse in Miami. It probably was.
Because you got to look at the people behind it. They have money, but they're not like deep pockets like these billionaires that are starting out.
Like GFL.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's and we'll get into the news and we'll talk about some other stuff similar to this, but like I just don't know who's asking for this, who really wants to watch this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like everybody. I don't know if it's everybody thinks they smell like blood in the water because, there's that talk UFC having not stars, and maybe people are thinking, oh, this is our time to
take over the sport.
Yeah, and I just don't see it happening.
No. All right, you ready to get into the news?
I am.
News team, assemble!
All right, we mentioned John Jones joins Dirty Box as a co-owner. He also mentioned this past week that he wants 6 months to train for Tom Aspinall.
Yeah,
6-month camp.
And I love that Chael Sonnen called him out. It's like, hey, it's already almost been 6 months. We could have already been doing this. And of course, John tweets back and says, oh, just another guy who's never reached the heights, or talking about heights he'll never reach and shit like that.
Everything that he says is about how great he is.
Yes.
It's always about he's the GOAT, so everyone should treat him different.
Yeah. And sure, maybe you are the GOAT. Most people think that you're the greatest of all time. But I don't know. Most people that are the fucking GOAT don't act like you are a fucking asshole.
And also, look at other champs. We've seen it with Volk. We've seen it with a lot of guys. Pretty much every champ doesn't get a 6-month camp.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a time where a title fight has been announced literally 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
6 months is ridiculous. Some guys, well, obviously we got short notice, but even not short notice, guys have 6-week camps, 8-week camps.
Yeah.
He wants 6 months.
Yeah, it's wild. And, I understand Dana and them are saying, of course, Dana's going to say whatever Dana can to keep people interested on it and stuff. But he's saying towards the summer, end of summer, it's going to happen.
That's not 6 months.
No, it doesn't make sense.
This is probably John Jones, like he's always doing. He's always playing hardball with the negotiations and the money. And
I wish the UFC would just throw the fucking money truck at him.
Yeah.
And get it over with. And then you wash your hands with him. He's gone. He retires, whether he wins or loses or whatever.
You only got, you got one more.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah. Yeah, if he comes out and beats Tom Aspinall, which is a possibility.
He didn't even think Tom deserves it. So, who else is going to deserve it?
Yeah.
If Tom doesn't.
Yeah.
Tybura.
Yeah. You want us to throw you a can or something.
He's not going to fight Jailton after that.
No.
I don't know. It's just
frustrating. It's what it is.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about it. I really don't even care if it happens or it doesn't happen at this point. I'm just sick of hearing about it.
Just fucking make it happen. Throw the money truck at him. Who cares? Okay, and then if he doesn't make the ultimatum, he's been stripped. Okay, see you later.
Yeah,
you're the GOAT. You're no longer part of this promotion. We'll pay out your contract, whatever.
Wouldn't be the first time they've stripped him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Strip him once, you can strip him again.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Speaking of other promotions that are making another promotion, BKFC announces a new league for sanctioned hockey fights on ice. Full hockey equipment, MMA gloves, 3 to 5 rounds of 90 seconds. Wow. Got to have some cardio for that.
Yeah.
90 seconds. 900 square foot ice enclosure. First event, June 14th. Okay, so does this mean they literally have 900 square feet to fight? Or
yeah, I guess. That's not a lot of room, but it's bigger than an octagon.
That's way bigger.
Yeah, but it's definitely it's a super super small house, maybe like an apartment.
Okay,
size.
I guess so.
Place, but still, I guess you're just gonna get old hockey players.
Yeah, which this is already. There is already a promotion for this, I think. That have retired hockey players and stuff, but it's and I love hockey, but nobody's asking for this.
Yeah,
nobody wants to see this.
Yeah, I think bare knuckle, especially coming up with this after how much hype the hockey fan base got from the.
That's probably 100% what it is.
The
4 Nations.
Yeah, the 4 Nations thing, and that's probably, they're like, oh, we can jump on that. People love seeing the fights, but this just, fight fans don't want to. I mean, I guess maybe the average Joe.
See, and that's what my big thing here is, like, okay, I guess these freak show deals that everyone's making, dirty box and hockey fights and all this stuff, I guess the random person that is not really like into fighting that much, maybe they get hooked to it because they don't care who it is, they just care, oh my god, these guys are on ice
carnage,
punching each other. But like guys like us and listener, we get invested in like the people, like the fighters, like who they are. And so stuff like this, there's no rankings, there's no structure, it's just freak show fights. You know, bring in this guy for this one fight, he's gone. Like, it's just hard to connect to any one fighter. That way.
You're not going to see that other than in the UFC. You know, there were other promotions like Bellator and PFL, but those guys are falling off the map right now. I just to me, it just like, you're going to get a bunch of has-been hockey players. I mean, nobody from the NHL, or at least that was something in the NHL, is going to go and do this.
No,
like after they retired.
If you made a lot of money playing hockey, you're not doing this.
No. So these are guys that maybe came up from, you know, never made it into the pros, you know, stuff like that. Or you get some Joe Schmo that can skate from Canada or something.
He's like an MMA fighter.
Yeah, who likes something like that. And next, I don't think it lasts long. Someone's going to get hurt, like really bad. Like someone's hand's going to get, their finger's going to get cut off. God forbid somebody dies from, you know.
I also think the pool of, you know, there's a lot of fighters. Anybody that has two legs, not even two arms. We've seen one arm fighters. Two legs and you know, can afford to train in a gym, can fight in MMA. But not just anybody can go hockey fight. I mean, you gotta spend years learning how to skate. So
it's to me, it's going to be a lot of like, are they gonna? They're not. It's just going to be boxing, right?
I'm assuming
they're not going to allow them to.
It's got to be,
it has to be just boxing with MMA gloves,
and they're gonna have to wear a helmet. I'm sure, no visor, obviously. But
but is it gonna be actual like hockey fights? Like you're able to grab them?
I'm sure.
And you know, jersey pull, all that shit.
Here's the thing: hockey fights are not exciting.
They're grabbing each other and they
fall down.
And they fall down.
So, I mean,
I don't know. I just don't see it working out very well.
No.
But we say that. Their first fucking thing, there's going to be someone getting knocked the fuck out and bleeding all over.
I mean, there's going to be you're going to be able to make these marketing videos, promotional videos, really easily with that. I mean, just cut up guys punching each other in hockey stuff. But I think also, and we'll move on right after I think that BKFC, they feel like they are just crapping out gold bricks right now. Like anything we do turns to gold. They're huge right now. Everything's going right. Connor owns them or whatever. Mike Perry's a big deal. Ben Rothwell's a champ. That Philly event was huge. They sold out the Wells Fargo Center or whatever it's called. So they're probably like, we can just put our name on anything. You know, it's going to do well.
I feel like, and they're like you just said, they've been successful. They're building up. They're one of the, you know, bigger promotions around here. Why not stick with that and focus on getting better fighters, like getting guys from, you know, that look at guys that haven't made in the UFC, you know, guys, you know, get more skilled fighters instead of PetSmart guys. And they have, and it's been successful. They've gotten some big names over there.
Look at Ben. They brought in Ben Rothwell. He didn't just fight for the belt immediately.
No,
they had him work his way up. And then he wins the belt. So there's so many guys that you can do that with that, you know, are the Jeremy Stevens types and Eddie Alvarez types. So, I mean, you got to build your own talent, obviously, but it seems like they have deep enough pockets to sign guys. So let's sign some names.
I don't think you need to put on all these, you know, sideshow shit.
All right, let's get into some UFC matchups. Paul Craig is tired of 185. Back to 205 we go. And he's fighting Rodolfo Bellato, who is kind of just a tank. I mean, just hit me as much as you want. I'm gonna swing hammers, and we're just gonna have a crazy slugfest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's good for Paul or not.
I don't think so. I mean, he's definitely gonna want to be on his back on the ground here, so we'll see.
As far as I know, the only UFC fighter from Thailand is returning. Loma Luke Bunmi is fighting Estela Nunes. Estela Nunes was supposed to fight Molly in London. That's on April 5th. And by the way, the Paul Craig one is May 17th. I'm assuming at the Apex. It's a fight night. April 5th, also a fight night. And then Thomas the Train Peterson versus Don'Tale Mays, UFC Des Moines. That's kind of a late edition. They had that card pretty much filled out. But that one gets added to Des Moines. Nothing real incredible there.
Yeah.
And I guess I forgot to talk about this, but what was it supposed to be? Romero versus Shogun for GFL.
Yeah.
June 22nd, New York City. Shogun's out. Didn't see exactly why. Gegard Mousasi steps in. So I guess it's going to be Romero versus Mousasi, June 22nd in New York for GFL. We do need to talk probably at some point about GFL. I think we still got a couple weeks at least till their first event. But Rose Namajunas and Miranda Maverick, UFC Atlanta, June 14th.
It's a big step up there for the Maverick.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's she gets that notch under her belt, then we're off to the races.
I don't love her chances. I think Rose. Yeah, I mean, you beat Jamie Lynn Horth.
Yeah,
and now you get Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, that's tough. I think they're just tired of. Okay, we've slow rolled you.
Yeah,
let's throw you into the wolves now.
Yep.
And Rose can still Rose. Like Rose is still.
I think she's just going to be too crispy for Miranda. And Miranda, she has wrestled people, but not really in the UFC. Mm-hmm. She's actually gotten wrestled in the UFC quite a bit. So I don't really know if she's even going to be able to put a wrestling game plan on her.
To me, she's probably going to have to do a brute strength thing here. Like she's probably going to have the size and the strength against Rose, but definitely she's not going to have the hands and stuff like that. Like I said, it's her biggest test to date. So
yep. This isn't really like a big deal, but like I guess Ian Gary, he said he was furious when Jack Della was given a title shot over him. Quote, "They're giving the title shot to a guy who's been injured for a year, and they think it's more exciting, but they're wrong. Why am I not fighting for the title? I had a conversation with my agent. I was furious. I still am to this day. I had a challenger fight where the guy, Shavkat, now has to rebuild his knee and will be out for a year."
You lost.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, regardless, like you can't. Yes, it's happened like once or twice. A guy gets a title shot off a loss.
Yeah,
it's not the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not mad at the Matt Alanda getting a title shot. He's up there in the mix. He beat a good guy. The last he won. I mean, that's a big thing to get title shots.
Pretty important. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm not worried about Ian Gary. He's going to be in the mix of things too. But you're going to have to wait your shot. You got to win. You had a good fight with Rachmanov, but.
I guess we got to go Ian Gary Buckley now, right?
Maybe. I think Ian Gary would do that. He's not a guy that's.
I think they were supposed to fight, weren't they?
I think
the Colby. Was that not supposed to be Buckley, or
was that?
I could be making that up, but point being is that we talked about earlier. There's the Shavkats, Jack Dellas, Sean Brady. All of them deserve a title shot over Buckley and Ian Machado Gary at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and because Gary's lost,
yeah,
and Buckley's winning, but he's not there yet.
Yeah, and people just don't really seem to like him that much. But
yeah,
UFC they're going to the Republic of Azerbaijan. I think it said June, I believe, is the rough estimate of when they're trying to go there. But yeah, in June. This is I don't. This makes sense because they've been going to the Middle East like crazy. I mean, we have a Abu Dhabi and a Qatar and all this stuff every other month. It seems like.
Yeah.
But it's weird because the only people off the top of my head that are from this country or have any ties to this country are Fazeev, who I don't think was even born there.
I don't think so either.
He was born in like Kyrgyzstan or something.
Yeah.
Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan, one of the two. And but then also Sadikov.
Yes.
He's Azerbaijani, but he's from New York.
Yeah.
Like he lives in New York. So obviously you don't have to have the whole fight card with Azerbaijanis, but it's a weird choice, I guess, just because of I don't know anybody from there.
You know, there's lots of money over there too, so that's probably why they're like, hey, let's have more.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think I mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago, but I thought I said that they need to start going more international. Like, yes, do more events like the Des Moines event, the Kansas City event, what we're doing, but also I miss the Poland cards and the Belgiums and those
you
countries.
got all these fighters from different countries. Let's move it around. You're able to do that,
right? Apparently, it's been 8 years. Well, no, not apparently. It has been 8 years since Kyoji Horiguchi was in the UFC. Apparently, they're bringing him back.
Yeah,
which I think is cool. And I think we've kind of seen more of this, where Jeremy Stevens. These types of guys, the UFC is like a little less like, we cut you, we hit your guts. Who cares about you?
Yeah,
they're more willing to bring these guys back, I think.
Especially if you leave on good terms. I guess if you piss Dana off, you ain't coming back.
But Horiguchi had a somewhat competitive fight with Demetrius. I mean, he lost literally with 1 second left to go in the 5th round.
Yeah,
but he was good. I always thought he was really good. He went over to Ryzen. He was a title holder over there. So yeah, they're talking about bringing Horiguchi back, and that would make the flyweight division. There'd be 4 Japanese fighters in the flyweight division.
Wow.
Horiguchi, Tatsuro Taira, Kai Asakura, Ray Saruya, all flyweights. Which I think is cool, because you look at the old Pride days and even the old school UFC days, a lot of Japanese guys, and then we haven't had very many for a long time now. It doesn't feel like. So let's bring the Japanese guys back.
We're getting a little bit of a resurgence here.
Now here's another one. Will we see Francis Ngannou back in the UFC? Because apparently his contract ends at the end of this month. I don't know
really
how that works. I don't really know anything about his contract.
If that's his contract, I mean, good for him. He made a shitload of money to fight for 1 round.
Yeah. And like box.
Yeah.
Like not even NPFL.
Yeah. Good for him making money. If they do that, it's just like that, just to avoid just like that headline there saying, just to avoid making the Jones versus an Aspinall fight.
Yeah. Will we've seen Dana be real petty with guys he doesn't like. Would he bring him back? I guess business he'll do business with.
I could see
anybody.
Him bringing him back, and then in best case scenario, he comes back, Ngannou beats Jones. Ngannou will fight Aspinall.
Yeah,
he'll actually do it. So,
yeah, that would be crazy. We'll keep an eye on that. Dana's the new boxing league. We mentioned this a week or two ago. Him and Turkey Al-Sheikh, who's like the big oil mogul guy over there, His Excellency. They're making this UFC-esque boxing promotion, apparently. They announced the weight classes. It's literally flyweight through heavyweight, just like the UFC. Same exact weight classes. I don't have it on hand, but I did also, I think I saw something about they have a pay structure that is just, if you have 1 to 2 fights, it's this much, 2 to 3 to 6 or whatever, something like that. Like it's just, everyone's the same. And maybe I'm sure they would do like a Conor McGregor. He doesn't make what the pay scale for everybody else is. I'm sure they would make separate deals maybe, but so I don't know. Apparently this thing's going to go ahead and happen.
We'll see. Maybe kind of revitalizes boxing a little bit, and I think it'd be cool, especially if they do live up to what they're saying, that the best of the best are going to fight, what people want to watch, instead of guys, padding their stats for 35 fights and then they don't fight the guy that everybody wants to watch until 5 years later after one of them's out of their prime, until one of them has the edge over the other. I get it. You want to, that's part of gamesmanship, but people want to watch the best of the best fight each other.
Right.
So I don't know. I hope it works out.
If they can bring them all together, that'd be sick. I don't know if that's possible to bring everybody together, but we'll see. Connor is running for president of Ireland.
Yeah.
0% chance that he wins?
I don't know if there's a 0% chance.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's like dead on serious about it. He's got a lot of love. It's Twitter and all that stuff, but we'll see. I'm definitely have joined the train that he's probably never going to fight again. Just after this was the nail in the coffin for me. As much as I would love to see him come back and fight and be the old Connor, but I don't think it's going to happen. Especially you're not going to have the president of Ireland fighting in the UFC. No. So
can you imagine? That'd be crazy.
It'd be insane if he becomes president and then he has
I just don't
selling out a pay-per-view fight for you.
Obviously, you're not voting for a president based off of liking them as a fighter or their persona as a fighter, but it doesn't seem to me like Irish people really like Connor that much anymore.
Yeah, there's he's got it's mixed over there. Like he's either loved or hated, and with most superstars like that. So I don't know if he becomes president. The way he talks about it and all that stuff, it sounds like he really does care. And there's some shit going on over there. With the especially with all the people moving into Ireland, and he's talking about Ireland. The Irish people are becoming the minority in Ireland and all that. So, maybe if he does win, maybe he does try to make some changes over there and all that stuff. But
I mean, I'm sure he has the best of intentions, but obviously politics is not about intentions, really. No. It's about dollar bills and things of that nature.
So we'll see. I don't know how that it's going to work with, all the bullshit he's got going on and stuff like that. But I think his fighting days are over. Good for him. He knows his legacies and all that shit. So I don't think it's just not going to happen anymore.
Connor running for president.
You will never get this. You will never get this. La 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 la.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, I didn't see that on my. It wasn't on my bingo
card. Last but not least, here, George Foreman.
Yeah,
boxing legend, dies at 76, complications from a massive stroke he suffered.
Yeah,
he beat Ali, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, superstar, one of the greatest, to ever do it. Became not just a fighter, one of the well-known heavyweight fighters, but became a superstar even out of boxing. Mm-hmm. Was a hell of an ambassador for the sport. It's crazy, man. We're seeing all these legends. We're getting older, and so are they.
Yep.
And they're going. So may you rest in peace, man. I mean, to a legend like that, sad to see him go.
Yep. Shout out to George Foreman. All right.
I try so hard, can't seem to get away from misery. Man, I try.
So not a ton of names on here. And if you haven't watched the show before, we're talking about fighters that have been released from the UFC in the last week. Marcus Rogerio de Lima, a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember off the top of my head what his last fight was, but he was up in the top 15 at one point. We all know that the UFC does not really care how many heavyweights are on the roster.
No.
Yeah, he beat Junior Tafa in the second round, his last fight.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's heavyweight.
Yeah, that's I wonder why. It's just because they're, I don't know. Sometimes the UFC is weird when they cut things, especially in the heavyweight division. Like
I'm assuming it's like they probably want to keep the total number of fighters to a certain number, range of numbers, and so it's probably all about how much you make versus how much we want you to make. De Lima has been around long enough to where he probably makes a decent chunk of change from them, but he's not bringing anything in to the promotion at all, and it's at a weight class where they don't need him.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it. This is a sad one. Jalen Turner, it's for real.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Sad to see, especially with the young guy. He's still got a lot to give, but, he's got some demons. I hope he wins the battle with all that. I'm wishing the best for him. He's got he talked about, he got a lot of hate for the Bobby Green stoppage because, the referee allowed him to beat the fuck out of him while he was
It's not
asleep.
his fault.
Yeah, but he apparently got a bunch of hate online, and it really got to him, and he said that's what was one of the reasons that in the Moicano fight he stopped. He didn't want to hit him anymore. He thought it was over, and just it was in the back of his head, and
that makes sense.
Yeah. So I wish the best to him. It sucks to see you go. I hope you come back.
I think. We know MMA retirements aren't for sure things ever.
Yeah.
I bet he goes out and starts like loving it again, and gets back to like the reason he started training and all that stuff. We'll probably see him back.
Yeah.
I'd say. This is a weird one. So Yul Kim. It's a girl, 8-1. Never fought in the UFC. 9-1. Sorry, never fought in the UFC. She fought in one championship. AFC Shudo. I'm guessing they signed her, and for whatever reason behind the scenes couldn't get her booked.
I wonder what.
And
they
just
said she had a canceled fight there. So.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. She's supposed to fight Eduarda Mora.
And she withdrew.
She pulled out. This may be like a
visa issue or something.
Well, as I said, we keep asking you if you want to fight, and you keep turning us down. So why are we going to keep you on the roster? Type thing.
More than likely.
Last but not least, Montana De La Rosa. That sucks.
Yeah.
She's coming off a win too, right?
I think so.
I've always liked Montana. She's cute. She was on Tough.
Andrea Lee.
Yeah, she beat Andrea Lee by a split decision. Well, Andrea Lee lost 6 in a row, and they cut her. So,
what was the canceled one? Let's see. What was the?
They on to Carolina. Carolina withdrew,
and then
it's just not fair, man. It's never fair.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I guess in a sense of she's coming off a win. I get it. Maybe that division, they're just like, and I don't know. It's weird. I hate to see her go.
I know. And I bet she didn't even get paid for this. Her opponent pulls out from a weight cut issue. She probably didn't even get paid for it. And then she gets cut.
Damn.
And her husband, he got cut like 5 years ago. He didn't have a good UFC run either.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Shout out to Montana. I've always liked her. Tough. All right.
Cute as shit.
Cute as shit, yep. All right. Let's talk about this upcoming UFC card.
Let's get to it.
So we got, of course, we're in Mexico. And
Mexico.
I actually wanted to mention that the UFC's they've been to Mexico quite a bit over the last 10 years, but so the first event there was in 2014, November 15th, 2014, Verdum versus Mark Hunt. But they haven't, and they've been going 10 years, obviously. They had a break from 2019 to 2024, COVID, obviously, that type of stuff, that the UFC wasn't really going anywhere. But before that, they went 2, 4, 6 times between 14 and 19. So, they've been going to Mexico quite a bit. The last time they were there was this Moreno and Royval card, which we'll mention. We'll talk about Moreno, obviously. But yeah, the UFC, they like going to Mexico, and we're seeing probably the most amount of Mexican fighters that we've ever seen.
For sure.
So I'd say we're going to start getting more and more and more back in Mexico now that they're getting out of the Apex and all that crap.
Definitely.
All right, let's go prelim storyline. And I guess that would be me. So my prelim storyline is really just I just want to shout out both these guys. They're fighting each other. Christian Rodriguez versus Melky Zael Costa, I think interesting matchup stylistically, but I also think both of these guys could have the potential to really make some noise. Like I think they could actually be top 15, top 10 guys if they just put a couple wins together. C-Rod, we all know C-Rod. He's the prospect killer. He's beat all these prospects on the way up. Probably, I don't know. There's no way to look this up, but I would love to know if there's any fighter in UFC history in their first 7 fights have had more takedown attempts against them than Christian Rodriguez. I mean, everybody he fights wants to take him down, and they just shoot over and over and over and over. 5-2 in the UFC, obviously a good record. He actually relocated to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
He trains out of the PI in Mexico City. And the takedown thing, like I mentioned, his last fight against Austin Bashi, who, another prospect. Bashi went 3 for 18 on takedowns.
Yeah, they just decided it was going to...
18 takedown attempts is insane.
Yeah.
Melky Costa, I mean, and by the way, both these guys, C-Rod's 27, Costa's 28, both fairly young for, today's UFC. 3-2 in the UFC, but his 2 losses, one was his debut, short notice, up a weight class at 155 against Thiago Moises. He gets submitted. Moises, he submits people. Yeah. He's a good grappler. And it was up a weight class. And other than that, he lost to Steve Garcia, who, Mean Machine's kicking everyone's ass nowadays. But Melky Costa easily won the first round. He just was on his back and controlled him. Won the first round and then got clipped in the dirty boxing up against the fence. He got clipped with a knee. Put away. Not the worst loss in the world. And I just think both these guys are a little bit underrated. I think people know C-Rod. He's beat some guys on the way up, Simon, Raul Rosas, obviously. But I actually think that, in my opinion, Melky Costa actually has a higher ceiling than C-Rod. I really think Melky Costa...
He's dirty, man.
Could end up being like a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
He is so dangerous with chokes. We saw back in February, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Andre Fili shot once, got guillotined.
Yeah.
Not only did he get guillotined, but even in the striking, it wasn't. I thought Melky was probably winning on the feet too.
Yeah, definitely. The guy's pretty, well-rounded, dangerous guy, and he's an opportunist.
I think what makes him so dangerous is that his striking style is he picks at you from the outside, front kicks, body kicks. He has that kick everyone loves where you're stomping on their knee. Everyone loves to talk about that one. So everything, very long range weapons. And then when you say screw it and you're like, I'm going to punch my way into range, he can wrap you up, take your back, or if you shoot on him, he can rip your head off. And I think for a guy who's known for his grappling, he's actually very comfortable striking. He's got a real nonchalant style. Stands a little tall for my liking sometimes, but I really think Melky Costa could go on a little win streak here. C-Rod, again, I think guys have tried to take him down so many times, and I give him a lot of credit for having the cardio and the get-up game to get back up. He's got a great get-up game.
Yeah.
But I almost think that these guys shooting so much on him has actually helped him a lot in beating him.
Yeah.
They get tired. Get tired as fuck. And then he actually has his own wrestling game that's pretty decent too. Problem here is I don't think Melky is going to just work super hard on takedowns. He's going to be the longer guy. I think he's going to stay on the outside. And C-Rod's going to basically have to come to him to force the grappling exchanges. But, I mean, I'm picking Melky to win, and I do think Melky, we could see him in the top 10 at some point as well. But I wanted to shout both of them out because I think both of them have the ability.
For sure.
With whoever wins this, I think could probably be like a top 10 guy.
Yeah. No, but both fun guys to watch, both tough.
Yep.
Melky definitely, like you were saying, is probably a little bit more crisp, and probably a little bit more well-rounded. But Rodriguez is a dog.
And I think my take on who I think is going to win is a little bit controversial because C-Rod's minus 160.
Yeah. See, I think either way, I wouldn't be mad at anybody. Whichever way it goes. And whoever. I don't think it's a bad choice either one you pick. It's. No. That'll be a fun one to watch. I like both of them.
And I guess they're kind of they've become friends because they sparred at Extreme Couture a couple years ago, and they kind of like kept in touch, and then now they're fighting each other.
Okay.
So that always makes things interesting. But that's it for my storyline. I think this is a good prelim fight. I mean, for a fight night, especially like.
I think so too. That's a fight that's gonna make that crowd blow up a little bit and get excited because Mexico City cards are pretty fun too. That's a pretty passionate fan base. So.
Yep. All right, your turn.
My turn. All right. This is my little storyline here. I just want to talk about actually the next fight after yours.
Yeah.
I went with, I think I might be pronouncing it wrong. Is it Ateba or Atiba or Ateba?
I'm assuming Ateba.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So many people, I watched videos of trying to, so I don't fuck
Atanka?
up any. Yes, maybe something. But his name is said 500 different fucking ways. But Ateba, the silent assassin Gaudier or Gaudier, whatever. He's 6'1" dude, absolute freak. I mean, and just a specimen.
This is another I am 12 situation here.
Young guy, very green, but just absolutely loves to put hands on people. I mean, is looking to take people's faces off when he fights. Contender Series guy. I mean, killed that poor.
And he was pretty good too, I thought.
Yeah, the
Naito.
Naito. Yeah, Naito. He was looking pretty good. He was undefeated at the time, so he was looking good, and he got his block knocked the fuck off. Gardier or whatever his name is. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that shit, but he is an absolute. I mean, his
6'4".
Yeah, 6'4". I mean, bodied the fuck up. Just a specimen.
Out of Cameroon. We know.
Yep. Out of Cameroon. Yep.
Cameroon.
And that's the thing. He's got such power. People might be calling him like the Francis Ngannou, of the middleweight class.
Yeah.
He's long. He's athletic. I mean, and he is looking to. He's definitely everybody's favorite style. Looking for the the kill. He pushes a great pace. He's obviously most of his fights have ended in the first round, I think. He has fought some Sambo championships. He's fighting out of, I believe he went to France as well. This guy is just watching some of his videos, his highlights on YouTube were filmed with like a rock. It looks like it was so grainy and shitty, but guy's great. And he's fighting a guy, which I'm not going to sit here and trash on this guy. A little bit older. He's a Contender Series guy. He lost in the Contender Series, proceeded to get his ass beat in Contender Series, and then fought once in UFC and got the shit kicked out of him by Zach Reese.
Yeah.
And Jose Medina. He's 11-4. This guy really... He reminds me of a punching bag. He gets hit. He's super tough. Guys cannot put him away.
Yeah.
Zach Reese even commented, he's like, he's got the strongest liver in the UFC because he kicked him repeatedly over and over. I mean, just spam liver kick. And Medina was like, would hobble over like most people are getting shut off.
Right.
And he just would hobble over and then proceed to shell up, and he's just a tough guy. No quit, and he talks so much trash. When he's in the cage, that's all he does is talk trash. If you hit him in the face, he'll look at you and be like, come on, to do it again. Instead of, maybe throwing a punch back and hitting them. But Bolivian fighter.
I'd say that he's got to be the first and only Bolivian UFC fighter in history.
Maybe especially a guy getting the first Bolivian fighter getting a chance off a loss. He's lost on the Contender Series, got a chance, went to the UFC, lost, and now he's getting another shot.
That Zach Reese one had to have been short notice, right?
I believe it was. I think he was supposed to fight somebody.
Zach Reese was supposed to fight. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. That's just. Maybe they just said, "Hey, we want Zach Reese to win a fight."
Maybe they threw this guy at him, and Zach Reese did what he wanted to him. Didn't matter. Beat the brakes off this guy. He just couldn't kill him. Could not kill him. The guy has no quit. I respect that about him. He's a dog in the sense of you're gonna have to kill me to do this, and he can't get killed. It's gonna be a tough task against a guy like Ateba. The guy's got, nuclear missiles for hands. And if he connects, your head usually is rolling on the floor. Medina's a likable guy. He's talking. He loves the UFC. His life has changed because of it. But again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't see anything that this guy is going to offer to the UFC other than likable personality. He may prove me wrong here with a young green Ateba here, but Ateba can strike. That's his deal, and he's a freak athlete. Medina's a big guy, not very athletic, kind of thick. Sure, he throws kind of hard, but he was also one of the guys. Most of his highlights were like a bunch of dog fences panels put up together in a bar. And that's where his highlights are from. So
he's going to play Ateba's game. He's going to strike with him. Mm-hmm. He's not going to beat a guy like this. I think you're going to have to get him tired. Mm-hmm. Medina's not really stylistically prepared to wrestle and that type of stuff. No,
man. The thing is, he may get Ateba tired. Ateba hasn't really been pushed a whole lot because he's killing everybody.
He just punches him so many times.
He might get tired from. He gets tired of hitting him. But I don't know. I'm actually impressed with this Ateba guy. He may be something. His arms are freakishly long. He's insanely athletic. He's bodied up. I don't know what they have in the water in Cameroon, but apparently that's where you need to go to have babies and raise them there for a little bit and then have them swim to France.
Yeah, they'd say send them to Dagestan 2-3 years. I think
might send
Cameroon.
Yeah, Cameroon might be it. But I'm excited for that one in the sense of Ateba. I think he might have a star on him, and he's like in his post-fight interview, he was getting asked questions, and he's he speaks English, but it's very proper, and he's like a robot. And they were like, "Hey, how do you feel about winning, getting your first win, or in Contender Series, you knocked this guy out, a very well-rounded guy. You came out and did your thing," and he just goes, "Good." And just stares at him, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this guy's a killer!"
Personality for days.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that one in the sense I think that guy's going to be something. He's super young, green, but he's got raw, pure, just power, talent that I think he might be something.
Yeah, 100%. Before we move on to the main card, I just want to bring up a couple of the names on these prelims. Austin Hubbard, he's getting another crack at it against Markel Medeiros. Vince from Hell Pichel still doing it. They love him.
I know. When I saw him, I was like, "Holy shit!"
We know that these Ultimate Fighter guys don't get a very long leash in the UFC. Obviously, a little bit different era of the Ultimate Fighter. Back then, you probably saw more of them have a career in the UFC. Nowadays, it's like 2 fights, and there's like 2 guys.
Yeah.
For every season, they get like 2 fights.
The turnover rate's pretty quick over here nowadays.
But even in the era that he came from, for a guy to still be around who isn't like a top 10, top 15 guy is kind of crazy. So
sure,
he's on this card. Loopy, I've always liked Loopy Godinez a lot.
Yeah,
she's on here. And then other than that, I mean, Edgar Chairez, CJ Vergara, we know they're going to war it out.
Yeah.
That's how both those guys work. So, all right, on to the main card. Only 3 ranked fighters on this card as a whole: Moreno, Urseg, and Lupi, the aforementioned Lupi Godinez. But still some fun fights on here. I think some interesting matchups. I'm going to go ahead and I got the first 2 fights that we're going to talk about here. We're going to start with Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. And this is going to be fun. This Ronaldo guy, I'm not a fan of him at all. I can't stand him.
He's got like bad guy in a shitty shooter film.
Yeah.
Like I could see him being the bad guy in like a John Wick film.
But like the Mexican
if he went to
version
Mexico,
of
like
John Wick or something.
John Wick goes to Mexico.
Yeah. He kind of looks like Freddie Mercury to me. He's got
kind of crazy.
Like front teeth stick out real far. But the reason I say I can't stand him, it's not because he doesn't produce fun fights, because he does. It's just because he's so wild and reckless on the feet.
Yes. And
really has relied on his durability to get him to the point he's at today, including his last fight against Odie Osborne at Noche.
Yeah.
Everyone probably remembers that fight. It was on the main card at Noche.
I don't know how he survived.
He just flies in there with a big, like, flailing his arms low kick and gets literally, like, knocked out. I think he literally got knocked out. Head hits the mat, kind of is there a little bit, and he's in that triangle for, like, 2 minutes straight immediately after. Survives it. The good thing about him is he just wants it more than these guys.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, he is a good grappler. I think he's only like a blue belt, I think they said.
Oh, really?
But clearly he can get to your back and control you on the mat and submit you, obviously. Super reckless on the feet, but wants to fight. Like, wants to scrap.
Yeah. He kind of, I did laugh during his fights because he's so fucking crazy. And he's got that like maniacal grin.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of crazy.
And Kevin Borjas out of Peru, who he's fighting, is not really that different than like Odie Osborne to me. Like, got good hands, fast, probably going to be the technically superior striker to Ronaldo Rodriguez. But Borjas, he's had a tough run in the UFC. So 0-2 in the UFC, but his losses are to a guy that people have maybe heard of at this point, Josh Van, and Alessandro Costa, who people may not have heard of, but they need to know him because he's really good too.
Oh yeah, I mean those 2 losses aren't bad, especially. I mean they're with the Van one, and he won a decision.
Yeah,
I mean that's definitely looking better on paper now.
But I just like basically everything in me is saying take the technically superior striker, Borjas. He's a good boxer. He moves well. Like he does the right things. But like I know who's going to want to win more. Yeah. I know it's going to be Ronaldo Rodriguez. He literally might get dropped in the first round again.
Oh yeah,
But Borjas is a guy, to me, again, tough competition. Kind of TBD a little bit on this, but seems to be a guy that you can kind of make question wanting to be there. He's been beat up pretty good in his first couple UFC fights. His last one, he got kicked real bad with a low kick, and it just everything ended right there. He couldn't stand on that leg anymore. It was done. Yeah,
you don't want to have that mentality, especially against a guy like Ronaldo.
Yeah, you're not just gonna hit him with one clean shot and get him out of there.
No.
So I don't know. I don't have a crazy opinion, except for I think it's probably gonna look like the Odie Osborne fight.
Very well. I mean, to me, Borjas is gonna have to shut the lights out on Rodriguez. Yeah. Otherwise, he might be in for a long night.
And I like Borjas. I like these Peruvian guys are really good. I mean, we'll talk about, not on this card, but I'm going to talk about another guy out of Peru who somebody has fought in the UFC. These Peruvians are really good. I think Borjas is really good. But I just think Rodriguez is too gritty.
Yeah.
They want Rodriguez to win.
True.
So they're giving him a guy who's 0-2 in the UFC to do that. would not be shocked if there was an upset here, but I'm probably going to take Rodriguez sub at the end of the day.
I don't think it's a bad pick. That'll be a fun fight, especially if Borjas does come to.
And the crowd's going to be into this.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think Rodriguez is like, he was really big on social media before he got to the UFC. Mm-hmm. Like from, I have no idea why.
Yeah. He talks his talk. He's all over it.
And that Noche crowd popped big time for him. But I'll go ahead and move on to my next one. From one Mexican to another, David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. Another guy I can't stand. David Martinez. Now, I can't stand him because I don't like his style, but unlike Rodriguez, I actually think his style is really effective, and I understand why he does it. He's traditional karate guy on his bike like crazy. Yeah. I mean, moving around a ton, but it's very hard to find. He uses it really well. Contender series guy, obviously. I think the guy he fought in the contender series was like 5-0. But actually was pretty good, I thought. Martinez, I think he was a Cambache Global champ, which is a pretty well-known organization out of Mexico. But yeah, on his bike, what I don't like about his style is that he's on his bike a lot and stays safe because of it. Understandably, I get that. But a lot of times, it seems like when he gets guy backed up against the fence and he finally gets somebody pinned down, he feints a lot, but doesn't throw a lot. He's a little low volume. He likes being on the outside and like throwing a lot of low kicks. He has a couple like wheel kick knockouts and stuff. He's got his last 2 wins before the contender series were 4th round knockout wins. One was a wheel kick.
Ouch.
What I do like about him is he has pretty good grappling. He's not an offensive grappler, but he's got really good takedown D, it seems like. So, and he's got really good cardio. He can move. I mean, you remember him on contender series, moving around like crazy. Well, he's done that into the 4th and 5th round before, and had no problem. This is another one. The UFC. Simon Oliveira is here to lose.
Yeah,
Simon Oliveira. He hasn't fought in the UFC. He hasn't fought at all since January 2023.
Oh wow.
And this is another Peruvian that I was talking about earlier. Daniel Marcos, who he fought. Marcos was 13-0 at the time. He's 17-0 now.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world. You lose to Marcos. Marcos is really good. But unfortunately, I think Simon Oliveira's got the exact style that Martinez is going to just eat alive. He's a traditional Muay Thai guy. Those guys typically aren't wild. You know, they have technique down. He doesn't. He's wild as hell. He's so wild. He throws crazy stuff. He gets real freaked out when guys backing up to the fence. He starts shooting like ugly takedowns. This Gravely fight. Now, I mean, to his credit, Tony Gravely, who was like a D1, I think, wrestler. I know he's a wrestler in college. Took him down 11 times, but he got up 11 times, and the gas tank held up for Oliveira.
Yeah, I mean, you get taken down that much, you gotta have a tank.
But then the Marcos fight after that, I think he kind of knew, okay, I'm up against a striker that's probably a little better than me, and that the anxiety and the tension was evident.
Yeah,
he was not comfortable in that fight at all. He gets real wild. Martinez, I think he's a guy that makes a lot of reads. He figures you out. His timing's really good. And I think this is going to take place on the feet for the most part. I think if anybody's shooting, it's going to be Oliveira. And I think it's just going to be Martinez running around, Oliveira chasing him around, but Martinez just landing the better strikes and more. So I'm not really this is not one that I'm super excited about. And David Martinez is not a prospect that I'm super high on. But I think, again, this is a spot that it's perfect for him.
Yeah.
So, all right, on to you. Everyone's favorite youngin.
Oh, yeah. We got the El Nino Problema, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales. Vince Vendetta Morales, I should say.
Can't forget that.
Everybody knows Raul Rosas and his Chihuahua antics. This guy's, it's crazy. This guy's only 20 years old. He's so young, and he keeps on winning. He's getting better. We've seen his stand-ups getting better. He's obviously on the ground. The guy's a wizard. And to be especially for as young as he is, he's going against Vince, who's 3-7 in the UFC. Is that's not good. He's fought some guys, with some names on them. Jonathan Martinez, Miles Johns, Chris Gutierrez. Those are some Song Yadong's on there. Yeah, those are some good names, not necessarily terrible losses or anything, but he's also got some bad losses on there too. Just
his last one, I don't think Elijah Smith's very good.
Yeah, no,
he lost to him.
And he lost to Taylor Lapilus, the guy who's no longer in the UFC.
Who is good. I mean, UFC is so dumb for that, but this guy, I would say probably Morales has probably got the edge on the feet. He's tough. He will struggle sometimes with the grappling. In the fights that I did go back and watch, that guys get him against the fence and everything, which I think Raul's probably going to get him against the fence, and that's going to be the game plan. Although we've seen Rosas actually kind of get a little bit more comfortable with his hands and let him go. He does have power. I mean, he knocked out Terrence Mitchell. The Aori Keeling fight, he was standing up with him, but I mean, it really wasn't a great performance. No, it wasn't the best performance ever. The problem was he couldn't take him down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had a hard time getting him down.
Yeah, he had a trouble taking him down. I think really this one's hard. Not necessarily hard in the sense of he's there because they want Raul to win. He's young. They're not going to throw Raul to the wolves just quite yet. And, he's going to fight a vet in Vince. And he's 34 years old. If he loses this one, he's probably on the chopping block himself.
Again.
So, yeah, again.
This is his second stint in the UFC, by the way.
So, he's probably on the chopping block if he loses this one. I think he's probably going to, pretty handedly. In the sense, especially if Raul can take him down.
I feel like Raul's going to just honestly be like a lot more athletic and physical and just work harder. And
we've noticed it too in his fights that he's got a gas tank. He'll go and everything. And I think he is evolving as a fighter. He's definitely getting better standing up because, his first couple fights he threw him in there, he was just diving at people and trying to take him down and sub him. But I think he is getting better. He does look a little bit more fluid, not as clunky in his strikes. Obviously, the Ayo Keeling fight, wasn't the greatest performance. But I think that also could be, we're looking at this kid as the UFC does want him as a superstar. He does talk his shit, but he's only 20 years old, I mean, he's a teenager when he got in the UFC. It's wild. So
this is exactly who he should be fighting.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. They're just gonna slow roll him. He's one of the fighters that the UFC is just gonna slow roll him and build him up because he's got so much time on his clock. When it comes to age and fighting and everything.
I think I've said this before, but I think what's gonna make him, obviously everyone's different. You never know, but like what's in his favor for longevity is the fact that his style is not one of let's stand and strike and take damage, and like he's very, he really doesn't take that much damage at all because his style. So he's got a little bit of a leg up on a young guy that strikes.
Yeah, exactly. That one, it'll be fun. I think Rosas gets the job done.
Yeah,
pretty handily.
Yep. All right. The guy that I was double checking while you were talking because I said earlier that there was only 3 ranked fighters, and I was like, is Kelvin not ranked? He's not.
No, he's not. It's wild.
Yeah.
If you consider where Kelvin has been and who he's fought, where the almost being a champ, stuff like that. Kelvin Gastelum, he's 19-9. He's 33 years old. He's definitely towards the latter end of his career. The guy can still fight. The guy's got, and he's definitely known for his toughness. He's got power in his hands. He's struggled with weight cuts. The point where they forced him to go down and everything.
Up.
I'm sorry.
He tried to go back down, didn't he?
He did try.
Yeah, Brady.
Yeah, and it didn't work out. Sean Brady pretty much damn near ripped his arm off.
Yeah.
Which Sean Brady does, but I mean, Kelvin, he's a guy who's been around. He's fought everybody. Really, with Kelvin, with me, is what Kelvin are we going to get? Yeah. What version? Are we going to get the guy that will stand and bang and uses his toughness and will go out and can flatline people? Or are we going to get one guy who sometimes in the last few fights it looked like he's just trying to get a paycheck? Really, and he's fighting a guy that you don't want to come out, slouching to. And Joe Body Bags Pfeiffer. This guy has got, concrete, cinder blocks for hands. Talks a lot of shit. He's 13-3. He's 28 years old. He's in his prime. He's looking to, rise up, and this is probably trying to get a notch in his belt, showing, hey, I beat this guy who's been with the best. Joe, obviously, I like Joe in the sense of the guy can crack, super strong, tough dude.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's really good.
Yeah, very, very good. Coming out of the same gym as Sean Brady.
Yeah.
There in Philly. He's got hands. He did struggle with Hermanson in the grappling department and stuff like that. I think he kind of overlooked Jack there.
Yep.
And then he comes out in his next fight and absolutely kills Marc-Andre Barriault. I noticed that he's been taking these, grappling fights and everything to work on his stuff. I think that's just him training, and
and Sean Brady, he's always been a guy that's done grappling matches in his UFC run and everything too.
Yeah, and he said that he'd do it afterwards too. He wants to do actual the big tournaments and everything. So, Pfeiffer's definitely been training there. That gym right there is a tough gym. Lots of good names coming out of it. They're being put on the map here, especially if Pfeiffer comes out here and starches Gastelum, which I think probably is going to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
It is, especially against Gastelum, but I think he is getting older. There's always he's never been finished.
Yeah.
But
knocked out.
Or knocked out, I should say. But there's always the first time.
Yeah.
And this is, if it's going to be the first time, this is probably a guy who can do it.
I think this is I didn't go back and watch tape and stuff like you did, but this is a hard matchup for Pfeiffer, and I feel like we say that a lot about Kelvin because he is hard to knock out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Pfeiffer would have a pretty easy time just decisioning him.
Yeah, if Pfeiffer stays around and on the kind of the outside and does pick his shots, he can do that. But that, I think, like I said, I think it depends on the kind of Gastelum we get, because Gastelum, if we get the Gastelum of old, he'll make it dirty. He'll get up in your face. And then I think that's where we have the... And
for such a short guy, he was, in his day, he was pretty dangerous, long range boxing too.
No, he's good boxer. He's definitely a smart guy in the sense of who he picks. Obviously, looking at all those people he fought, he's fought some killers.
It's pretty amazing how he just doesn't give a crap about anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't really even try, and he's just still an elite fighter. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's just so nonchalant. I think it'll be a fun one, but I think Joe gets it done, and honestly, I could see him being the first, knocking him out. And if that does, it's a big notch in Joe's belt, and he puts him up, and he start getting some more notoriety.
Is there any outcome where either of them are ranked after this? Because they're not. Obviously, neither of them are ranked, so you're not going to take their spot. But if Pfeiffer, if he knocks Gastelum out, is he ranked now?
I don't know.
Would he pass?
I could see. I don't know if he goes above Kopylov, or maybe they do Pereira drops
for the listeners, Kopylov is 15 at middleweight. 14 is Michel Pereira. Rainer de Ritter, he's probably not passing him, I don't think.
No, the highest he gets is 14, but I don't think he hops.
Paulo Costa's 12 now.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is low. I didn't know he was that low.
Yeah, that's wild. I think the highest he gets is 14, and I don't think he's gonna drop go above or hop Kopylov. I think he gets a 15 maybe.
Wait, you don't think you go above Kopylov?
Yeah, I don't know if he hops.
You think Kopylov goes up too?
Yeah, goes up too.
Okay. Yeah. I think if he knocks Gastelum out, I think that although he didn't beat a ranked guy, technically that deserves to be ranked.
Yeah, he definitely deserves the notoriety, especially with the way that division's kind of moving around with all these.
What's more impressive, knocking out Gastelum or knocking out Chris Curtis?
Oh, I mean, Gastelum,
right?
Sure.
And that's what Kopylov's ranked off of a Chris Curtis knockout. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just liking Kopylov a little bit more.
I mean, I like him more.
Yeah,
just as a fan and stuff. But
maybe my bias is showing a little bit. But I think Pyfer gets it done. The guy's good. He's got power.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see what kind of Kelvin we get.
So this is the one of your three that I'm the most interested in, Manuel Torres and Drew Dober, because we've obviously Drew's going to bring it no matter what, but we've seen he's a little bit flawed. I think we've seen that Manuel Torres is a little bit flawed too. Bahamondes just he hit him with the same punch over and over, and knocked him out finally.
This one's a little tough for me. I mean, Manuel Loco Torres. 15-3, he's 29 years old. Loves to throw the hands, is a tough dude. Does, like you said, John, gets himself in trouble, will get wild. Definitely loves to overextend. He gets a little, I don't know, like antsy almost. And like Bahamondes, against Bahamondes, he would overextend and Bahamondes literally just step back. Counter.
Was it was that pull? Was it a 2?
Yeah.
Or was it a hook?
I think it was a pull 2.
Yeah, he would literally just. I think Torres would throw that left hook.
Yeah, and it was weird. Torres would just, not be in range at all and just load up and throw and leap at him.
It was like 3 times, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and then Bahamondes like, oh okay, I see what you're doing here. I'll just step back and bop.
Yeah.
Torres is fun to watch, tough guy and all that, but he can't crack. The guy's got power, but I think this is going to be a battle of maybe who's crazier. And Dober has fought, the best of the best. He's got the crimson chin, although he likes to get crazy sometimes too, and just leave him. He just stands there with this big ass chin and allows people to crack him, even when he's got them backed against the fence. He falls in love with his power, but I think we might be getting a little vet lesson here with Drew Dober going over Torres. I think he probably knocks out Torres, just because it wasn't even just the Bahamondes fight. Even in his wins,
somebody hurt him real bad. I remember.
Yeah, he got.
Was it Duncan?
I think it was Duncan. Might have hurt him.
Yeah.
But obviously that happened quick. But he overextends and doesn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a muscle memory thing that like a bad habit that you can't unlearn. That he just absolutely can't stop himself from doing. I think that's going to get him in trouble. It could be a little toss up here, but I think we're getting a little bit of a vet lesson here. Like I said, I think Dober's just gonna probably say welcome to the Crimson Chain.
Here's the thing about Torres, and not to say he's fought bad competition, but literally the fight before his Contender Series fight, the guy was 10-11.
Yeah.
So I think what we're seeing with Torres is he's when you're hitting mitts and you're throwing that big left hook and it's cracking good, it's great. And you're fighting lower level competition that isn't going to make you pay for it. It works great. And then he got to the UFC and he had 3 first round finishes in a row.
Yeah.
And so now I think he's just now he got the lesson of like, okay, I didn't evolve for a while because everything I did worked in a fight. Now he's got that lesson. Will he evolve? I don't know, but
maybe
not everything's got to be 100% power.
Yeah,
you can touch, then go.
Yeah, but he's fallen in love, and like I said, it might be just a bad habit he can't unlearn.
And but he's long too. Like, he could have like a really good jab and like long range weapons. He's a tall guy. He's gonna be way taller than Dober, right?
Oh, definitely. I think by a few inches here.
5'10" and 5'8", just 2 inches. Yeah, it's not crazy, but still.
But I think his arms are longer. I think, and they make him longer.
Yeah,
in comparison to his height, but he just, I don't know. Sometimes the technique gets out the wind, and we see that with Dober too. But Dober's got that, the experience. He's been in there with the best.
You got to kill him.
Yeah, you have to kill him.
Yeah,
and I don't know Tor's got the power to do it, but I don't know, especially if Dober gets up in his grill.
And the odds are pretty much exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So
-115 Torres, -105 Dober. Pick him.
That one's a excuse me. That one's a pick 'em. I'm going with Dober. I think that lesson's going to happen there.
Okay. All right. Main event.
This one makes me sad.
It's a big one, and I like them both.
Yeah.
Brandon Moreno, former champ, obviously. He's I think he's ranked number 2 right now, versus Steve Erceg, ranked number 8. I mean, do I even really need to explain who these guys are?
Oh no,
probably not. I mean, we all know Moreno. I mean, Erceg, if you've been living under a rock for a couple of years, came in and just took the UFC by storm. I mean, literally came in short notice against David Dvorak, who I never really thought Dvorak was that great, but he was ranked at the time, I believe. Beats him up pretty good, and then Costa, who we mentioned earlier, who's really good. I think he had a pretty tough fight against Costa. I mean, it was pretty back and forth. Beats him, kills Matt Schnell, left hook. We've been talking about left hooks.
Yeah.
I mean, that was picture perfect. Probably didn't deserve a title shot, but got one anyways.
Got one and had a very good fight against Pantoja.
Made the most of it.
Yes.
And probably could have made more of it. Really. I mean, he could have won.
Yeah.
And so really just has taken the UFC by storm. This Kai Kara France one, very unfortunate. I think he was feeling really good. I think he was going to win. I think probably 8 times out of 10 he probably beats Kai. I think he's more technical. He could probably even take him down if he really wanted to, but he got real lazy one time backing out, dropped a left hand, I think, wasn't it? Or dropped his right hand or something and got.
Yeah, it was. He dropped his left hand, I think.
Yeah, backing out.
Yeah.
Caught with a straight right.
Because Kai makes things dirty. He's got power. He'll get up in your grill and rush you and all that. So.
And I mean, Kai won fair and square, but again, I think Erceg wins that more times than he loses.
Yeah.
Overall. And that's why I don't really understand the odds here. -195 Brandon Moreno, +165 Erceg. Moreno, yes, he's coming off of a win against Albazi. Albazi looked terrible. Albazi got tired as fuck in that one.
Yeah.
Like, he's a flyweight that can't go 3 rounds of doing what he's good at. So I'm not like super impressed with that. And then Moreno looked terrible in the Royval fight.
Yes.
The last time they were in Mexico, he didn't even look like he wanted to be there.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, after especially losing the Pantoja for the 3rd time or 4th time it was.
He may not have wanted to be there.
Yeah, it's very possible. He's like, fuck, like.
Yeah.
And it was a split. I thought, it was.
I thought it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm probably a little bit more biased to Moreno because I'm a huge fan of him. But
I like him. I just think we've seen him do way more. I thought Royval just ran the show that whole for 5 rounds. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't really understand the odds at all because we've seen Moreno have a stinker. Does he want to be there? Does he not? And then we've seen him beat Albazi, who I think I don't know. I think Albazi may be a little bit of a fraud at this point.
Might be.
Especially if you can't go 3 hard rounds at flyweight, that's a problem. Now, this thing's going to be close. The Erceg Moreno, it's going to be like razor thin.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Both good boxers. I honestly,
They're going to take each other down, I'm sure.
yeah. It's going to be another. It might be another. Definitely more boxing than the Pantoja fight, but might be a scramble fest too, because they're both good scramblers.
Yep.
If they do take each other down, they're both dirty on the ground and grappling. So
I think the reason I'm so adamant about mentioning the odds is because I think you're, regardless of who you like or think is going to win, I think if you're a better, you bet Urseg.
mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a split decision one way or the other probably. So you take the plus 165 dog.
Yeah, this one hurts. This one's
flip the odds and you take Moreno.
Yeah.
I think it's either way.
This one, like I said, makes me a little sad because Moreno loses. I think, how old is he now? 34?
Probably like 30, 31.
31. I thought I feel like he was older.
But again, like you kind of mentioned, like he's lost so many times to Pantoja that.
Are we gonna want to watch that again?
Yeah, well, I don't even know if they would make it again. They made Kai Asakura. They brought him in,
yeah.
And so like I think the point is that Moreno, he's a fighter. He likes to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He's fighting for a living because he likes to fight. But like, is the fire really burning right now?
Yeah, he finally got over that hump, became champ over Figueiredo and all that, and I think and that's why we're seeing him. He's fighting in Mexico City. Obviously, he loves that. This one just makes me sad, man.
I'm not counting Moreno out by any means.
I'm not picking anybody.
No, okay.
I'm not picking anybody.
I'm gonna pick Urseg, but only because of the odds. Like I said, if it was
that
flipped,
makes sense.
That's just too wide for me.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think. I don't know. I hope everybody has fun.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think, especially at this weight class, like Moreno, if he were to lose this by a split decision, I don't really think it matters because he's probably not getting a title shot if he wins or loses. Yeah. So like, as soon as somebody else becomes champ, Moreno's right up there for probably getting a title shot anyways.
Yeah, I would say especially he wins. And who knows what Pantoja does?
I don't even know when the hell he's fighting. They've been talking about him and
Kai for
forever.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen either.
And if we're talking about running one of them back against Pantoja, the Urseg one makes more sense. Yeah. It had won and it was close.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah, definitely.
It'll be interesting. It's going to be close. Seems like every Moreno fight pretty much is like really close and exciting. So, get your popcorn for it. It's going to be fun regardless of who wins.
Big fan of both these guys. Urseg, obviously, he's got a lot more tread left on the tires and everything. Moreno's been around here for a little bit and been champ.
Last thing I'll say before we move on, we got to move on. But how many fight time for Moreno in the UFC? How many hours you think?
Well, what's the record? The record held by
was it Frankie Edgar or something?
Frankie, but wasn't Pantoja getting up there too or something?
I think the most at flyweight is Moreno. So Pantoja's, I don't think.
That makes
he's
sense.
maybe close to the flyweight record.
Yeah.
But how many? Like, what do you think the first number is in the hours?
Almost like high.
Yeah.
5.
No, it's not that high.
Not that high?
4 hours, 43 minutes.
I'm not that too far.
No. You're supposed to say lower than the record, okay? But no, 4 hours, 43 minutes. His average fight time is it's 16 something minutes. It's literally higher than most UFC fights actually go.
Wild,
3 rounds,
Yeah. That guy's tough. He finds a way. I love it the way I don't know, I love it. The way he's out there, he moves.
And he's always hands like this.
Yeah.
I personally, I would rather watch him win split decisions or just go to split decisions than, some just a heavyweight knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like watching that shit too.
All right. Anything else on that card as a whole?
No, it'll be fun to take a little trip down to Mexico. I think it's going to be a good card. That'd be cool.
It would be cool. Not too late. All right. And one thing I forgot to mention. Tons of cancellations on this one, too.
Yeah, a ton.
We had a couple weeks where we were okay since, like, Seattle, since Julius and all that stuff, and now we're back. Yasmin Howergy, shout out. I do like her a lot. She had two different... She had an opponent that pulled out, and then she pulled out against her replacement opponent, who's now fighting Loopy. So, whole thing there. Yair versus Lopez?
Really? That fizzled.
That's on here. I didn't know that was a thing ever. Zellhuber, he had two different opponents. Again, Brenner pulls out against Zellhuber. Hubbard comes in. Zellhuber pulls out against Hubbard. So yeah, lots of cancellations on that one. All right. If UFC Mexico City is not enough for you, we got a couple other events I'm going to mention to you. All right. Thursday, another BKFC card. They're getting them rolling.
They're pumping them out, dude.
I mean, you know what? If they don't have hockey fights on here, I'm not really interested. So. BKFC Fight Night, Hollywood, Florida. It's on Triller. Luis Palomino fought Justin Gaethje way back in the day versus Howard Davis. Main event of that one. Friday, Lux Fight League 51 in Mexico City. We're seeing a lot of these promotions doing events. Cage Warriors in London, UFC London, Lux Mexico City, UFC Mexico City. That's on UFC Fight Pass. Interim flyweight title, 8-1. Luis Ivan Rodriguez versus 5-1 Alexandro Bravo. Both of them, their only losses are to the current champ in their weight class, Jorge Calvo. Other than that, at flyweight, so Axel Osuna, 7-2. His only two losses are to David Martinez, who we talked about earlier, and Reyes Cortez. Tracy Cortez.
Oh, yeah,
brother.
yeah.
That's his only two losses. And in Julieta Martinez, the Ninja Ferret, remember her?
Ninja Ferret.
Little cute 20-year-old on Contender Series that Dana's like, no, you're not ready, but we like you.
Yeah.
She's on this card. She's fighting a 4-6 opponent.
Oh.
Yeah, so she better win.
Yeah.
But she, again, the UFC likes her. That's basically, we like you, but you're too young. And
but is it best to go against someone that's 4-6? Like,
if you lose, no,
yeah,
that's bad.
But I guess high risk, low reward.
Yeah, I mean, she's out of what, Argentina, I think. So I think you're a little bit limited. Obviously, like Lux is it's a pretty big promotion in South America. So I think she just says, "Hey, give me what you can." I'm assuming a girl of her size and stuff, it might be hard to find her good opponents. I don't know how many there really is down there, but also on Friday, LFA 205. LFA, man, we say it every week. They just keep on keeping on. This one's in Brazil, also on Fight Pass. I think this is a vacant belt. LFA Bantamweight Championship. 10-1 Vinicius Pires versus 11-2 Lionel Aboger. Probably messing that one up pretty bad. At lightweight, we got a 1-1 Bellator vet, 1-0 PFL vet. Manuel Souza versus Lucas Barros. And then last one on this one at bantamweight, 18-2 Herbeth Souza versus 19-6 Michelle Lima. Souza's last loss was to Muin Gafarov.
Okay.
He's 18-2, so I think he's somebody to look out for. Saturday, Way of Warrior FC 17 in Madrid, Spain, also on Fight Pass. Main event, 7-0. Miguel Angel Lozano and 8-1 Umakan Ibrahimov.
Okay.
He's like Dagestan or somewhere in that area. Other than the main event, fight of note, featherweight, 16-2 Gustavo Gabriel and 12-5 Luis Guerrero. Gabriel lost to Rogerio Bontorin on the Contender Series in 2018.
Okay.
He was back on, I believe that was the first season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2018?
Yeah.
And Bontorin had a decent UFC career there for a while. Couldn't make weight, but solid fighter. Luis Guerrero, who Gabriel's fighting, has a loss to Diego Lopez in 2018. I'm pretty sure Diego Lopez was like 10-2, and this guy was like 2-1.
Yeah.
And obviously, the 2-1 guy lost. Last but not least, Saturday, Ryzen 50.
Ryzen.
I haven't heard about a Ryzen event in a while.
Yeah.
Kagawa, Japan. This is a pay-per-view deal. I honestly don't know how to buy it. I never bought one. But there's a lot of guys with really good records on here. Asian fans will probably know a lot more about them than I do. But bantamweight title, Naoki Inoue, who I have heard of, fighting 37-12 Yuki Matoya. This is a rematch from 2020. Inoue RNC'd him in the first round. And other than that, a couple other notable guys on this card at featherweight. 13-4 Chihiro Suzuki. He, in 2023, knocked out Patricio Pitbull.
For real?
In the first round.
Damn.
Yeah, just straight right was what it said. And he's fighting a 17-3 guy out of, I think, Kazakhstan, I believe. But
really,
like I said, a bunch of guys with good records on this card.
Might be hearing from them shortly.
So check out Ryzen. I literally, I don't even know if I've ever sat and watched a live Ryzen event.
I don't think I haven't either. I mean,
I may start this weekend.
Maybe.
All right, Chad. What else on this this whole show? Anything?
I don't think so. I'm excited for the Mexico City card. That there's going to be some fights on there though. They're going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think we're due for a bounce back as far as the fights.
Yeah, I think we get them on this card just based off of the fighters, history, the names they have on this card. They're not even, I wouldn't even say huge superstar names. People that would really know unless you really do pay attention to the fight game. It's going to be fun. I think we've got a lot of guys here that are coming to prove a point and show they're here for the
crowd's going to be loud as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Atmosphere is going to be great.
Yeah, and everybody come to hopefully everybody brought their gas tank because it's elevation.
Yeah.
So I know I'm excited for it.
Yep. Same here. Let us know what you think in the comments of any of the things we've talked about today. I appreciate you guys watching, and give us a like and subscribe.
Yeah,
whatever they say.
Like and subscribe.
And our socials, all of our socials will be in the description. So go check that out. Appreciate you guys watching. See you next time.
Peace.